And we should be seeing coming up the first match of the losers bracket, correct?
Yes, first match of the losers bracket is going to be Eve University's first teams, because they have two. So this is Eve University proper and Photon Pheasants. The Photon Pheasants are already on grid, and looks like Eve Uni is on their way. Interesting. We pointed out that Eve University has brought a couple kitey teams, this one in particular. But it looks like their opponents are bringing almost a mirror setup of what was brought by the other Eve University team.
Really curious to see what's gonna land.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting what see. We might see kind of a mirror match going on here. I can't hold it. I'm gonna have to go ahead and say, so the Photon Pheasants have already arrived on field. And they are sitting here in an Orthrus, 2 Caracals, a Jackdaw, and a Curies.
I like this comp.
And we're still waiting. Eve Unity is arriving on grid shortly.
Yeah, this is a strong comp, I think. That's a huge amount of DPS for 20 seconds. Then you just kite around for 20 seconds, 30 seconds or so while you reload, and then a huge amount of DPS again. But it's just the sheer alpha that you can get with these rapid lights, and that carries to screen, I think.
Yeah, the carries and the Jackdaw could just be screening, or even the Jackdaw could be light missile fit, but he is a little bit ahead of his team, so it looks like he might be tackle and rocket fit. And here comes Eve Uni, Ivy League landing on the field.
So they're bringing their Osprey Navy comp again.
Yeah, so we've seen this setup before. They brought 2 Osprey Navies, a Talwar, a Caracal, and a Curies.
And they did do really well last time.
Yeah, so they won one and lost one like this. Any predictions?
In this case, simply because those Osprey Navies are going to have to close at least a little bit of range, I'm going to put my money on the Orthrus, the Caracals, and the Jackdaw.
I'm really curious.
Be able to tackle the Orthrus before.
True.
But maybe
bad
that was
piloting, or was that skill?
I'm going to go ahead and throw it onto Eve Uni on this one. Maybe a little bit of both. Maybe it was just the wrong place at the wrong time. And here we are live at the arena.
Countdown's
coming.
So both teams are pretty much at range, except that single Jackdaw sitting at 30.
Yeah, and the full Eve Uni team coming at 50.
So again, I think we'll see. Both teams are going to be out of range of each other at the start here. They're almost 100 kilometers from each other. So we'll be doing a little bit of positioning and trying to get the upper hand here without making a mistake and getting caught. And the match is underway.
And so we do see a few effects going across. I think the Curies is trying to damp out the other.
Both teams flying perpendicular to each other. Both of them have decided to go 45 degrees, but in the opposite direction. And now we're seeing the EV team curving in.
The Curies is already down, so those damps and defensive scram possibly are off the field already.
And that's the alpha, those rapid lights. Just you got too close and you're just gone. Even curving away now, realizing maybe they got a little bit too close there. And we're starting to see some damage.
So yeah, we're starting to see just a little bit, but it looks like he's starting to pull range too. There's a little bit of that sparring you were talking about going on here. Is he going to be able to pull back and kind of wheel in this?
Looks like the Orthrus from the other team, they are burning in, so I think we're going to see that Osprey get scrammed very soon.
He might be able to pull range, but he might be pulling this, successfully pulling this Orthrus into range of his other friends.
Well, I mean, he's almost nowhere near them, yeah. And now without the transversal,
And
the
he's
velocity.
down.
Arthur's repping as well, so he's not concerned. He's now completely free to run around and try and tackle some more.
Are we going to call this one? This is interesting. This is really.
Well, we did
think this
call
might be
one
it.
earlier on like this, and then we're wrong. So, you know what? I'm gonna. You know what they say, YOLO. So I'm gonna call that Laserhawks, the Eve Uni team, are pretty much done for at this point.
Yeah, and down goes the tower with only a couple ships left. Yeah, I think it's safe to say this might go 5 all.
Yeah, I mean, none of the ships on the other side are even remotely close to.
Yeah, we see a
being
couple at
concerned.
about
I mean,
70%. That's no serious concern. I think it's just cleanup at this point.
Yeah, it really is. So once this Osprey Navy's down, it's really just that caracal they have to clean up. One of the caracals on the Laserhawk side into what I would say is maybe low shield, but I think he'll probably. And it really is just a case of long kind of single caracal last against 2 caracals, an Orthrus, a Jackdaw, and a Keres for that one drone.
I guess my biggest question: how was the Eve Uni Carries able to go down so fast, but the Photon Pheasants Carries no problem at all? Was it a target calling issue? Was it a problem of who got locks faster?
No, see, I think it was a piloting issue because if you look where the Photon Pheasants Keres is right now, he's quite far away from the ball of stuff. And if you look at where the wreck of the Eve Uni Keres is, he was kind of in the middle. The Keres against rifled lights is just doesn't want to be anywhere near them, so the Photon Pheasants probably pretty wisely burned theirs the opposite direction, because that's going to be your first target. So you burn them away, you make them chase it, or waste some time shooting some rockets at it that aren't going to hit, and then switch. Whereas I think Eve Uni decided they were going to use their carries from the get-go, burned it in, and of course the Photon Pheasants probably locked it first and just overheated and fired everything at the same time, and it was gone.
Yeah, because they have up to 5 mids, and they essentially could sensor damp, 4 out of the 5 ships in a comp, and that's if they went all sensor damps and no defensive scram. And I'm really curious about that because
let's see if we can find.
Yeah, I want to see this kill mail. Because I wonder if the Photon Pheasants Carries was able to get a lock faster than the Eve Uni Carries, and essentially, because he got a lock faster, damp out the DPS ships faster, which lowered their lock range, and only really allowed maybe 1 or 2 ships to really try to shoot at it, while the Eve Uni Carries wasn't able to do it. Or maybe did the Photon Pheasants Carries damp out the Eve Uni Carries? Maybe put a damp on him, so he wouldn't be able to damp out the other his fleet members' DPS ships. I'm really curious how it played out. I'd like to know what each Carries pilot did, because I'm pretty sure the Carries must have been a big part of that.
For sure, definitely. And this time, damps were useful.
Yeah. This is where the damps will come in.
This is kind of what I was leaning towards: is how many damps versus shield extenders or even range. But it looked like they did get an earlier lock. I'm seeing the Eve Uni. They had a medium shield extender, 2 damps, and a lamp. So they should have been able to get the early lock, but.
So I'm hearing from our super secret intel channels that the target of the Photon Pheasants Keres damps were onto the Eve Uni Keres. However, Eve Uni got the damps off first.
Interesting.
I see.
So
it looks like
seconds.
the damps just went straight to the appropriate target. One going for the DPS and one trying to go for the other Keres first. And it looks like
yeah.
range scripts were loaded.
So it was interesting. Even though the Eve Uni carries got his damps on the other carries first, he still died the quickest. And I think that then comes back down to that piloting issue that I was talking about, where I do believe Photon Pheasants carries pulled range very quickly, versus Eve Uni perhaps not.
Well, here I'm looking at the kill mail of the Eve Uni carries, and it's only showing the Jackdaw as doing anything to it. And this is where a lot of people didn't like the Jackdaw changes that recently got changed with the new update, the Ascension update. And I personally love the new Jackdaw because the old Jackdaw's DPS was so abysmal. It was so bad.
I am
This new
right with you on
Jackdaw's
that one.
DPS is like, oh, thank you, Jesus. They actually could hit and kill things. The fact that the Jackdaw soloed a carries and completely, to me, as I was watching the match and seeing the damage being applied to the Eve Uni carries, I'm thinking the whole fleet smashing on this thing. No, but to see that the Jackdaw did itself, being able to have the DPS of a Jackdaw and a kiting be in its sharpshooter mode, where it gets where that's where the DPS bonuses now lie. It now having extra low slot to increase its DPS. This is why Jackdaws are amazing now. Sniper Jackdaws are scary, and we just saw a Jackdaw kill a linchpin ship Eve Uni team by himself.
Yep. Well, you got to remember as well, the Eve Uni ship declined to fit any form of tank apart from a damage control. He's like,
He
you know
did
what,
have
tank is
extender, so he had something, but
so he does. I take it back.
Slight buffer.
I take it back.
Yeah, the fact that Jackdaw did it
Yeah, no,
pre-Ascension,
yeah,
Jackdaw would not do that.
I'm liking the changes too. A lot of people complaining are the ones who preferred that kind of rocket tackle. But if you look at the sharpshooter mode and you can still fit a decent tank on it if you want to. But the DPS and the utility of it are awesome now, and it does fill those roles. And that's kind of from